evening, and welcome to the Best Overall Show. I'm Cass. This is Noah. Say hi, Noah.
I know.
And the lovely Joe Bomarito.
Hey, how's it going?
It is going. How are you gents doing? Joe, everything good?
I'm good. I've been mired in kill rig hell for the last 3 weeks. I am now out of it.
It's beautiful. I saw some of those pictures though. Oh,
Yeah.
turned out well. It took some time, but
Yeah.
oh, Sam, we love you too, buddy.
Love you, Sam.
Love that man. Love my Aussie. Noah, how the hell are you, man?
Man, life is wild. We got jams coming up. I'm on like a not being so fat kick that I'm working on. I just had Vets Day. That was fun. I have 3 children, so life is always insane. I've been doing the social media thing. That's apparently working. Yeah, I've got 9 million things going on. 9 million. But it's all great. It's good.
It's good.
What about you?
Less great, to be honest. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I'm having some physical and mental health issues that have resulted in me stepping back from work for the time being. But on the plus side, it's given me some time to paint. I feel like the amount of pictures of progress that I have from last episode to this one, like, almost matches Joe level volumes, which I'm pretty proud of. But yeah, also just really excited for WCW. You know, it's times when life kind of kicks you in the nads that you're like, okay, I'm really glad I have like this amazing community and hobby and whatnot. I have goals, but at the same time, I'm kind of going in there, wanting to do better than I did last year, but at the end of the day, just accepting that it's going to be what it's going to be, and I'm going to have a great time.
Awesome.
So that's me.
How are you doing on your commissions?
The 1,000 Suns are done.
Oh, baby. Is it
done,
time?
so.
You're still working on Custodes, though.
Now, well, I did interject a little bit with some cast time. I painted something blue. Felt really good. I remember how to paint blue, turns out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm actually really chomping at the bit to get like cracking on this Custodes in a real way. I painted the test model, but now it's like, okay, let's go. So I'm probably not going to touch anything but maybe the bases before WCW. At this point, all of my WCW hobbying is done. Just like Noah was kind of talking about before the show, I too am just trying to get some reps in. I have some reps scheduled that are TTS, one real life one, and just chomping up the bit to go. But when I'm back, we're gonna get working on that commission real hard.
Awesome. Are you all set to go, Noah?
Not exactly. I like to think that I am a pretty fast hobbyist to a good level. I'm able to get things ready. And I have recently painted literally hundreds of orcs. So when I decided I was going to take GSE and I started getting reps in, and I took a long time with the aberrants because they were very important. And then I had a bunch of other things going on in my life, like all the running the store and the family stuff. So I was kept being like, well, the last 2 weeks or so before, I'll just knock out these 25 infantry guys or 35 infantry guys, and it'll be cool. And I was working on them a little bit at a time, to contrast for the armor, base coating, whatever. And then, I lost track of time, had some life stuff happen. And I look up and it's a week until I leave. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So, it was like a week and a few days. This is Monday. And I just start grinding away at it. And as I'm painting them, I realize it. I'm like, why are they taking so long? And it finally sets in on me that every one of these tiny little chaff infantry models is like super hyper detailed, like grenades and pouches and little ridges. And, they also have a lot of different colors on them, right? They have the chitin, the under tissue, they have the regular skin, they have the cloth, they have the armor, they have the metal, they have all the different things. It's like the most complicated thing to paint. And I have to paint. Give me a sec. like 35 of them. I've already painted the GCs and the Aberrants, and I'm almost done with the second wave of 10. So I almost down to 15 left, 3 small squads. But there's still like things I want to do. Like I want to get a better display board going before, and I still need to get reps in. So I'm kind of in crunch time. I made poor time management decisions, and I made them without all of the information.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of feel like there was an extra week and it just disappeared. Like I felt that too. Like I'm done. All my hobby shit's done. But I was talking to Sharon the other day and I was like, yeah, so in a couple of weeks when we go to Atlanta, she's like, it's next week, honey. I'm like, I look at the calendar, I'm like, so it is.
I'm willing to accept to not have any accountability and say that we lost a week. Sure.
Well, I gave you an out. You took it. I love it.
What about you, Joe? Anything fun coming up?
Yeah, I'll be going to the Renegade Open the same weekend you guys are down in Atlanta. That's in Minneapolis, so that'll be fun.
You misspoke, Joe. You meant to say you're going to go win the Renegade Open.
Oh man, we'll see.
How many people? How big's the event?
It's like 80 some.
Oh, you got this. Easy mode.
Yeah.
Boom.
Mail it in. Show up asleep. You'll be fine.
I did win a little RTT last weekend. That was fun.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
Yeah.
Orcs?
That was only like 12 people. Yeah, orcs, yep. And I played the second place, third place, and fourth place guy.
So
that's the best strength of schedule you can get, right?
I was gonna say your OGW is through the roof. Good job.
That was fun. I didn't have a single vehicle careen the whole tournament. That was lame.
That's kind of disappointing, to be honest.
But all right, let's get into some hobby progress.
Yay.
What is this guy?
Oh, so this is first off, it's a really cool model. It's by Creature Caster. There's a game by Creature Caster called Judgment, Eternal Champions, and it's like a 5v5 skirmish game. And so but there are like 50 plus heroes, all these different little models, and then there are also monsters like random spawns. And how it works is you have this cool little board that's like a cave or a temple or whatever, and there's environment things like lava and whatever. And you and your opponent come up to the table, and you each bring 8 champions, I think it's 8, and then you each get to like rule out one of the other opponent's champions, so they can't use it that game.
Oh, okay.
Then you each have to rule out one of your own, and then from your remaining 6, you pick 5 and create a roster, and then you guys play. And the goal is to destroy the other one's altar. You each have like an altar that has, and you're trying to destroy the other one's like god shrine. And this guy's named Brock. He's a cool little dwarf. I think you can see it better on the next picture. One more. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time and effort on the skin. It doesn't really read incredibly well on the camera, but like I painted all of the shades and did a bunch of glazes and washes, and so when you get him up in front of you, it looks like real skin. You can see like muscle definition.
I was gonna say that when you start with
one more
on flesh, it really creates that multiple layers of translucent color that mimics what we actually look like.
Yeah, so I think that looks pretty good on the thing. And so he's all scarred up too. I'm going to go through and add pink to the scars. I've been doing it mostly only on like my live streams for TikTok for the store and on some little videos. But it's been super fun. I've got 4 more I'm going to do, 4 more characters.
Oh, cool. Is this on 3-dimensional tables, or is it like a mat you play on?
It's on a mat, but there are 3-dimensional pieces of terrain that go on top of the mat as well.
Oh, okay.
Not like a lot, but there are some.
Cool.
It's cool.
I've not heard of that.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's by Creature Caster, the people who do all the really cool detailed resin models.
Speaking of Creature Caster, happy birthday, Simon.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Just got to throw that out there.
Happy birthday.
You can see my Evo Go bag in the background that is now at this point beat to shit, but I've now painted 4 complete armies with that thing because I take it upstairs or I take it to the shop when my kids playing D&D. So it's basically my primary paint desk wherever I'm going. And it is splattered with paint. It is beaten to shit. But I painted 4 or 5 armies now on it. And I just love it. It's like my primary.
Yeah. No, it's a really cool bag. I now have the fortune of having one. I can't say it's my primary because I haven't really been leaving this desk in the last little bit, but it is a nifty little thing.
Yours is way more organized than mine.
Yeah.
Just from what little I can see.
My family, do you guys know what a living room family is?
Yes.
Okay, so my family is a living room family, right? The center of the house is where everyone goes, and it's where we spend most of our time. Or the bedroom, my bedroom becomes a living room because it's like a big suite. It becomes like the living room, and all the kids are in the bedroom. It's like wherever we are, the family is mostly usually together. But we'll all be doing different things. Someone will be at the counter coloring. I'll be at the breakfast table painting. My wife will be playing a game on the TV. My other
Together, but separate.
Yeah. So because I like spending time with my family, and I also need to paint, this has just been kind of my thing. But
That's
it's
awesome.
really beaten now. I need another. In like a year, I'm going to have to get another one.
Oh, geez.
It's okay. I know a guy who owns a shop that carries them.
I can get him a cost. It's fine.
You're the guy, dude.
Okay. So the story behind this is super cool. There is a new skirmish game coming out called Trench Crusade. The lore is super grimdark. The long and short of it is, during the Crusades, a group of the Knights Templar turned out they were actually evil or whatever. They took the city of Jerusalem and then opened a gateway to hell. And that gateway to hell spilled out on the earth. And so humanity has been fighting against an incursion of hell ever since. Fast forward to it's set in the 1920s, basically World War I era.
Okay.
So you have like World War I technology, combat, whatever, fighting against the forces of hell spilling out, and it's like trench warfare. It's like super nitty gritty. But there's a group called the Trench Pilgrims, and they're like wanderers and religious fanatics who wander the no man's land fighting hellions. And there's this thing called I can't remember. It's a something shrine, and it is it's basically a dreadnought. They like weld a monk inside, and it's a big like armored suit, but it looks like a church. And they have a thing called a Catherine's wheel, which is their main weapon. So it's a big wheel that they put that a faithful person has their body broken on. They're still alive, and they're like chained up on it. And they believe their faith protects the shrine. And in game mechanics, the shrine can't take damage until they kill the guy on the wheel. And so I was mocking up and working the leg. I was trying to there's no models for it available yet, right? There's some STLs, but they're not even released really yet. So I was starting to mock up Catherine's wheel by basically using a key ring and some toothpicks. It was just seeing what it would look like dimensionally. This one ended up being too big, so I'm going to do another one. But I ended up making it look pretty cool. But it just was off in dimensions, so I have to do a slightly smaller one.
Okay, and you said this is skirmish level?
Yeah. It's like the Trench Pilgrims are the hordiest of them, and you might have 20 models.
Oh, okay. Fun.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, I wrapped it in wire, and then I was going to paint it and I trimmed these down eventually, the spokes down, and then I was going to paint it like wood. And I was going to add a little more extra wire to each of the things to make it look like barbed wire. So it looked like it was wrapped in barbed wire. And there's the GSC. I took a last minute picture because my day has been crazy. So that's literally them just on the thing as I put them back on and take them off and put them on and take them off and move them room to room. So they're not organized at all right now.
Okay.
But they have color.
They do. The vehicles are almost done.
The vehicles look so crisp, dude. That color scheme pops like a mofo.
I have to do weathering. It's underlit with pink and it's orange. It's great. I have to do weathering on them too. But the aberrants, the vehicles, and the bodies of Gene Stealers other than the bases are all done. The characters are mostly tabletop. And I have 10 of the hybrids done. And I'm just working through the rest of the chaff. Yep.
Yeah, those look real good.
Yeah, they look cool, right? Yeah, I gotta do a little more. I'm gonna do a little spot highlighting, and I'm gonna do a little battle damage, and I'm gonna do the barrel burn effect on all the barrels.
So, are you trying to do all of these things by WCW, or is this gonna be let's put a pin in it? Good enough is good enough. Let's play and then come back and finish it.
I am delusionally optimistic in most things in my life. However, I understand that about myself, so I ruthlessly prioritize. So yes, I believe that I'm going to bring a fully finished army with all these effects and get 5 or 6 reps in between now and Wednesday. I believe that in my heart. I know that that might not actually happen, and so I have a prioritized list.
Okay.
So I'm going to finish the chaff to above tabletop level. I'm going to get all the basing done, do all those things, and then if I have to pick between doing muzzle burn and playing a game, I'm going to play a game. But if I have time during like a meeting or something,
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to pull it off, but I don't know if that's actually true.
I have faith, but at the same time, I am very pleased as your friend who cares about you and your time at WCW that you have a plan of contingencies in case we get to this timeline and I haven't done this, then X, Y, and Z.
This is one of the only times I've ever gone to an event where my performance at the event is more important to me than my hobby. Usually I care more about I want to play well and hobby well. I obviously still want to hobby well, so there's still a standard that I'm going to meet one way or another because I'm representing my store and my team and all that stuff. But once I get to that standard, if I have to pick between making them look better and getting more reps in to potentially perform better at the event, I'll get reps in instead.
Comes down to priorities, as you said, and you're prioritizing.
There's the chaff. There's 10 models that aren't on there that are on the desk. There's 10 models in there that are mostly done. They're the ones that the bases look gray.
What are the things in the back? Those white things. They're big.
Oh, those are more of those Judgment models.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
I don't recognize those. Cool.
There's like a Minotaur and stuff.
A Minotaur.
Yep. And there's them on the desk. They're in progress.
These are metamorphs?
These are metamorphs.
Okay. All the Gene Stealer Cult guys just look the same to me. I don't.
Yeah, I have to mark my squads.
I have no idea what any of
That's fair because they come down everywhere and intertwine with each other too. It's easy to lose who's in what squad.
I have the same problem with AdMech models too. I don't know what any of those things do. They all look the same. All right.
So,
are you running that at WCW?
Oh, you bet your ass I'm running that. Let's go. So this was a work in progress photo of it. It is now finished, and I think there might be a finished photo as well. But yeah, as I said, I very excitedly got to paint a blue thing, and it felt really good to kind of get back into the workflow of it. And yeah, the cart made it into my list because it's 5 points less than a scout squad, so it fits. That's the most important criteria because you don't want to cheat and bring too many points. But also, it moves 12 inches into the middle of the board. It can action and then die for the Emperor. And it has a multi-melta, so what's not to love? Yeah.
You and I have very different paint procedural styles because I don't leave anything black before I start airbrushing. Everything's blocked in.
Oh, whereas I airbrush the blue and then I black everything that's not blue out. That's just for my brain. That's I'm not thinking about this until later. That's all that is. It probably adds a lot of time to my process. You do paint faster than I do. we might have just discovered why.
Yeah, that seems really time consuming. Are you doing multiple? Do you airbrush the wheels or the armor plates?
No.
Or the okay.
I just airbrush the blue. Everything else is brush.
Well, it looks fantastic.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, there's the finished product. So this is after all because the blue that you saw there was pretty much done. And then I do some brush highlights as well, so that you're seeing that, and then all the other colors, painted all the hazard stripes and stuff, did all that, and then I do the pigment dusting, which is what makes the whole bottom and everything look so filthy and disgusting and wonderfully weathered. And then I varnish the hell out of it because otherwise the pigment gets everywhere, and it is quite a nightmare to work with otherwise.
Are those 3D printed shoulder pads, sir?
Just the emblems. Okay. Yeah, I don't do decals, so
Oh, I don't
every
do that.
every single thing of mine is either 3D printed or freehanded. That's how I roll.
Is that a no at Champs?
So long as you have designed them yourself, which I've done enough on the STLs that I can say that,
Okay,
then you're fine.
very good.
Yeah, it helps that I only use basic shapes. So, and then like
Ah.
I have, it's funny because of this rule, I have learned enough on Mesh Mixer to be dangerous. So it's given me a skill I never actually wanted. But
The hazard stripes look really good too.
thank you. Yeah, and I was gonna use a stencil and do it with an airbrush, but then it was a bit of an awkward sort of size. So I said, fuck it. I just freehanded it. And if you're ever freehanding hazard stripes, don't try to make them perfect because you're not going to be able to do it. Like, I don't care who you are, you're not going to be able to paint it to look perfectly unless you tape it. So if you're not going to do it perfectly, just make it look chipped and damaged. And then on to the next thing I had to do. My display tray was built for Gulliman in mind. And there's a beam of light painted that you can see that like points to the back of Gulliman because I have him backlit with this turquoise light and it's coming through the stained glass window and everything. So like I built that around him and I haven't been running him pretty much most of the edition. So I was like, I need to do something.
Have you run him at all?
I ran him early days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
what a hero.
He's a beautiful, beautiful model. And like he's almost there. I don't think he fits very well in Vanguard. My good friend Thomas Bird would disagree with me. He is running Vanguard at WCW with Gulliman and Calgar, but that's a lot of points for me. So I just bring Calgar. So I built this little insert that fits on my display tray. It's just a rubble pile with a fallen Imperial door that is leaning on the building and conveniently blocking out the turquoise light so that I can be happy knowing that it makes sense now.
Is this removable so you can put it back to okay?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
So I even painted the turquoise light reflecting off the back, even though you can't see it because
slick.
But yeah, so it's just on a base the size of Gulliman's with a magnet. It's a bunch of corkboard and then covered with bits and bobs, kind of super glued on, and then coarse pumice gel is what I use to kind of fill out the rest and give it some structural integrity. Okay. And now this is my fun future project, work in progress. So as we discussed, I'm making a Grey Knights Counts as army, which is going to be my, thanks for the idea, Ultramarines Librarius task force. So I'm converting a bunch of stuff and I don't love baby carriages for the NDKs. So I'm doing Librarian Dreadnoughts. And this is kind of like the start of it. I use the Psychic Hood from the Blood Angels Librarian Dreadnought kit. I sourced a bunch from all my local friends and whatnot because they are out of print. But
I really?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, I didn't know that.
One game store had a box, and then between 3 of my friends, I was able to get the rest of what I needed. So I've got those 6 lined up with a couple backups just in case I mess them up too. So it's that tacked onto the Redemptor, which is going to be kit bashed with an NDK kit as well, the Nemesis Dread Knight kit as well to make it the right proportions. But yeah, looking forward to actually getting some paint on that. But this is my living room project, Noah, because when I'm watching a show or whatever, there isn't great lighting in that living room, so I don't like to paint there, but I will put together stuff and build models. So that's what this is.
I broke my clippers, so I have to wait for new ones to come in before I can build anything.
Oh no. What kind of clippers do you use?
Cheap ones on Amazon that are like $10. I was using the Privateer Press ones. Those were absolutely the best ones. They were super cheap and super durable, but I don't think you can get them anymore.
Okay, so durability is not the thing I'm about to plug. But if you could get yourself some God hands,
Hmm.
they are like they're a Gundam thing. That's where I
Okay.
found these.
I
They're
think
at a
the ones I ordered were Gundam clippers, but well, the one that I broke though was the Citadel one.
damn. I have like 3 of those, and they're I abuse the hell out of those. The God hand ones are the ones I take like I baby because you can't cut very thick things with it, but it nips them perfectly with like
Oh
almost
man,
no flash.
I have no idea where those clippers went. Yeah, the friggin' one blade like literally twisted, like it's like this.
What
Just
were you
from
cutting, Joe?
man, it wasn't even anything that hard. I think it was a piece of a resin orc. I think it was cutting like a foot off. But I mean, it was like Forge World resin, not like 3D printer resin.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
that'll do it.
Oh man, who's this
Yes.
dirtbag?
This is Magnus the Red, done and dusted. So fun model to paint. He's right here. Very fun model to paint. I gotta
He will be
say,
flying with you to Atlanta.
he will be. He will be bubble wrapped because he doesn't fit in my case because he's so goddamn tall with that wing. Look at that wing. But yeah,
jeez.
I am bubble wrapping him, putting him in a shoebox, and he is going in Sharon's carry-on. But I'm very excited because like I feel like the glows turned out quite well.
You can bring so much more if you have someone travel with you that doesn't play. You've
It's
doubled
true.
your carry-on capacity. Oh man.
You know, it
Wow.
wasn't the like the actual intent of bringing her. It's just a pleasant, kind of upside. But
The guy I played at the RGT the first round, which was an orc mirror match, he said he flew to Cherokee Open last year and he checked his army and TSA opened it up and just dumped everything out. So everything was broken when he got there. I'm like, I'm sorry, man.
yeah, don't check Warhammer. I checked my display tray. They did destroy it one time. That is why the entire like top part of the building comes off and it's magnetized now. But I fully suspect that one of these times it'll happen again. You kind of just like with the display tray, fine. You're gonna destroy that. It's a pain in the ass. I hate you, but fine. Like I hope bad things happen to you. I'm not gonna be the one to do anything about it. I'm just gonna bitch and moan. But if like I will not ever like if they told me, sir, you have to check your army, I'd be like, cool.
Goodbye.
You're gonna have to take me off this fucking plane.
Yeah.
Like, I am not.
I'll walk.
Yeah, seriously. I'll rent a car. It's fine. But yeah, so Magnus was really fun to paint though. I'm really happy with how the glows turned out. I'm really happy with the red skin. I was a little bit worried that it was gonna look a little too cartoony, but I feel like I somehow managed to keep it pretty saturated without making it like look pink, but it still looks like demon flesh to me.
I was gonna say it looks almost just like raw muscle tissue. Like
yeah.
And I really like the little red undertone in the wings.
Yeah, that was
really
thank you. That was kind of a pain in the ass to do. I did like a white oil wash and then it was blue, did a white oil wash just kind of into the cracks and crevices. Airbrushed a magenta over top of that with like a transparent, like a contrast paint, Doomfire magenta, and then went back over it and dry brushed blue while trying to maintain that sort of like reddish hue coming out.
All right. Oops. Apparently, I didn't put any of my happy progress in here.
What a selfless guy.
Oh, dang it. Oops. I don't know how that happened. Well, I'll do that next time.
We'll have like a go focused hobby episode.
We're already half hour in and still on hobby progress. Okay, so we'll just skip me for now. All right, World Championships. Where you got your ticket for playing Green Tide, right, Noah?
I won 120 something person major called Storm of Silence.
That is awesome. And Cass?
And I got my ticket at Battle for Salvation Teams in New York, or Nyack, New York, with the Art of War boys. And I was playing my Space Marine Vanguard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So next week in Atlanta, Hot Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta, baby.
Got the breakdown here. 30 Necron players. Wow.
Yeah. It is gonna get canoptic up in that bitch. What can I say?
There are a lot of big Necron models too. Like there's a lot of Monolith. There's multiple Tesseract vaults.
Oh, I hate the Tesseract vault so much.
You know, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I much preferred when people thought it was too big to play, and then didn't bring it because I faced it and it's not.
The Tesseract vault's the one that's opened, right? That's got
Yeah.
the tan in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody likes the other one though, right? The closed one.
It's like a flyer thing. It's not good.
The obelisk. Okay.
Yeah,
I am really surprised there's only 14 players from England here. This is I just assumed they would be like number 2 on the list, but
Well, Canada and the US have the most golden ticket events.
oh, okay.
And geographically, it is the least prohibitive for us to.
That is
come as
very
well,
true.
To be fair, like it's from Vancouver to Atlanta is kind of a pain in the ass and quite expensive, but like most of the 40K players that are going tend to. I think from out west, it's me, McDougal, Stu Angel, and Brendan McKenzie. I think that's it from like the West.
Did Stu get his ticket?
Stu got his ticket. Kippers.
Sick.
So like from BC, from my province, that's the amount of people going. But so many people are going from Ontario and Quebec, which is just north of Atlanta, basically. It's a much cleaner shot. But you know, for someone coming from across the pond, it's a little bit more money, a little bit more investment of time, etc. But yeah, we do have the most golden ticket events too. That makes.
What is this mystery list at the bottom?
I don't know.
Faction unknown.
Oh, I think that's it's Imperial Agents because
No, there's
two Imperial
right above it.
I don't know, man.
Could it? I mean, Death Watch is part of Imperial Agents, right?
I mean, it just means that someone didn't put their. You cannot select the faction thing.
Okay.
So it just means someone was silly.
Okay. Well, we have another sweet pie chart here.
There are so many less GSC than I thought there would be.
Me too. I brought 2 infiltrators.
Oh,
particularly
so good.
that.
So good.
Yeah, I like just being like, no, you can't do that.
Literally none of the armies I play have something that does that, and I would take that every time.
Yeah, 2x5 is really comfortable. It's nice.
Yeah, I feel like into Biosanctic, like there's 3 builds that are of GSC that are playable and good, right? And technically someone won an event with the Xenocreed one, but that seems wild. But not excluding that. And 2 of them are very shooty, right? And I feel like the infiltrators are really good against that. I think the reason they're not as good against Biosanctic is because Biosanctic has an alternate game plan of just stage up on the board and jam ridiculously long charges that they get to because they get +1 and up to +3. And then also like flamethrowers.
Yeah. You know what they don't like though?
What?
Is when they charge you and you fall back into another unit and then they automatically fail their charge and they can't redeclare it. Boom, Vanguard. Because my infiltrators are Phobos in my detachment with the calculated feint strat, they just move 6. And so I can stage them in such a way where like you'll get some charges off, but not the key one that I really don't want you to get.
I wonder how there's some interesting interactions because of the strats. There's a +1 to charge for each unit you declare as a target up to +3, and then they get +1. So if someone saw it coming, they could maybe do some silliness where they're like, cool, man, I'm going to go for a longer charge, but now your scouts can't mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not true though, because you say that, and then I'm like, oh, okay, my scouts can still move 6 inches, and they'll move the opposite direction, where you cannot physically touch both units, and you declared both, so now you fail. Believe me, it's a
Well,
whole.
isn't it if it's not if it, you can't wait? Isn't there what's the condition that you get to retarget with yours?
That they are not a valid charge target anymore. So as long as I'm still within 12 inches of you, you cannot redeclare.
Interesting.
I have been on the receiving end of this several times. It is quite frustrating.
Yeah,
I can
Well,
only the problem is I can only do it one place at a time. It's really the real problem.
The
But
Gene
like,
Stealers are super important in the matchup again. If I have to play there are no Vanguard. There are no Vanguard in my pod. So this is like a whatever. But
this is my dad can beat up your dad kind of conversation.
no, it's just like basically the way I have to do it is like, if I'm playing you is I have to my Gene Stealers have to go kill your 2 squads of infiltrators and your scouts, and then we're good, man.
Wow. You could feasibly fly something behind the scouts, so then they couldn't fall back. Correct.
If I had anything, my whole
I mean,
I know, like
but that just means I can't go in that direction.
I know, but like if I fly like Storm Boys behind you, and then have something in front that wants
you
to
can
charge.
definitely you can definitely mess their movement up. Like
yes.
I played against a less good player than Kassera, and I was playing Blood Angels, and I jumped a squad of JPIs behind his scouts. And because I was using the scouts as a springboard to get into other things. And that made it so like he could only go one direction, and that one direction was the direction I wanted him to go. He didn't end up using the strat, and so it was fine.
Awesome.
But if they're smart, Cass won't let you do that.
Right.
I'll make it suck one way or another.
All right. This is the Cass pod.
This is pod 11. So I have 2 fellow Art of War members in this pod. Unfortunately, I come from a different country, so I might have to play them. So I've got Sasha Edelkraut, who is a phenomenal painter, phenomenal player, also an Adeptus Astartes junkie like myself, playing his Black Templars. And then we've got Russell Tassin on Chaos Demons. So that's my Art of War cohort. We have some a couple Canadians. I don't know Christian, but Tim Dietlefs is a WTC veteran, an absolute gem of a dude. Really excited to see him again. Also glad I don't have to play Tim because Tim is very good at Warhammer. And if I'm trying to win, it's it's not a great. Even though Eldar is like, I am a cancerous match into Eldar. Tim is a very wily player, and I watched him pull scores that he had no business pulling at WTC. So I would never underestimate the man. But I've got some real competition in this pod, and I was walking the dog, and I got a message from my friend Sam Pope, and he said rematch time, baby, in all caps. And then I realized, like, okay, because I played him at BFS teams. It was when he was playing Unending Swarm or whatever the Tyranid detachment was called before they nerfed it into Oblivion. And I didn't understand what I was facing, and I felt confident very wrongly. And he taught me how wrong I was. I scrapped back and kept it a pretty respectable difference, but like he still beat the shit out of me. So I'm very much looking forward to a potential rematch with my good friend Sam. Lovely dude, amazing army. It reminded me of like Noah, how you can paint this massive horde at scale, at quality. So yeah, just that would be a lovely kind of match. But like, I've kind of done the look over the lists, and I don't think there are any soft opponents in this pod.
Can I point out that you have an epic shitload of melee focused power armor in your pod?
I literally have 100% of the Space Wolves in my pod, which is not a great matchup for me. So I'm like, if I make it out of the pod alive, I will be like a bloody mess standing upon the corpses of a lot of melee armies.
Can I assume that this pod has 100% of the Ryan Smiths at the tournament?
I wouldn't guarantee that.
what are the
You know what?
attributes? Two people
I
with the same name, and then they're in the same group together.
I don't know that that's right. I don't know that that's right, to be honest. Because, like, let me pull up my spreadsheet that I made that has the ELO too.
Literally half of your pod is melee focused power armor, including I'm including Death Guard in there, and I'm including.
It's okay. So the Ryan that's playing Necrons is actually Ryan Pierce.
So okay,
Yeah.
it got goofed somewhere.
It got
goofed.
Okay. But you know what? In that case, I still might have 100% of the Ryan Smith.
Yeah, true story.
But dude, that's so much power armor melee.
Yeah. So I am I'm hoping to dance around and shoot people to death.
All right.
Do you have Jaden in your pod?
No.
Jaden's going, and he's playing Space Wolves, so you don't have.
Is he? Okay. I don't have 100%. I have 66% of the Space Wolves.
Sick. Oh, is this my pod?
It is.
This is your.
Which I am assuming has 100% of the Noahs at the tournament.
I think it does.
And 50% of the Imperial agents.
Oh shit!
Thomas Moreland, yeah, or Robert Moreland. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. So the first two standouts that jumped out to me is that Quentin and Nick Nadavati are both in my pod, and they're both playing sisters. Super cool. I need reps in the sisters. I'm gonna segue for 1 second. I have played against Quentin once, and it was before he was associated with Art of War. We were at the SoCal Open, and we were playing off for the last seat in the top 8. I come up to the table, and now that SoCal Open was pretty infamous for having a lot of people who were not nice to play against. William Abalez, as well as a couple other well-known cheaters, were there. There was like someone almost punched someone in the face. Someone had to get thrown out. It was a pretty rough. I had two very salty, opponents who are very liberal with trying to take advantage of things up to that point. So I was like, and my friend who had gone with me had actually been brought to tears. He was so angry with how rude and deceptive his opponent was. So like I was going into this last round like, God, I hope this guy's not an asshole. And he comes up with the thing, and I can tell he's not, but he's like, but I give my spiel. I'm like, hey, here's how I am about go backs. I play like this. This is how I, give him my whole spiel. He looks at me and goes, totally cool. You can do whatever you want. You can lie as much and cheat as much as you'd like. Tell me whatever rule is, I'll believe you. Doesn't matter. You can play any game you want if that's how you want to play. You're welcome to cheat as much as you like. And he was serious.
Yeah, no, he's not.
And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, wow. And I started playing him, and I got beat so fucking soundly that I don't think I could have cheated enough. He was so good. He knew exactly what he was doing. It was like a child standing in front of a tsunami. Like it was he was a 40-year-old man and I was a 9-year-old, and he was pushing my head into the mud and kicking me in the butt.
And he's like so lovely about it too. I too have been dismantled by Quentin before. I did it back to him one time as well, but he does it very lovingly, and it's a very comfortable experience being absolutely ripped to shreds. Yeah,
dude, he trashed me so hard. It was such a low note to end the event on too, because like I was like, oh, I'm in contention for top 8. Let's go, and then he just like grounded me into the ground. It was like when Thanos beat the shit out of the Hulk. That's what it was. I was like, I'm the Hulk. And he's like, I don't care. It was really great. Anyway, so Nick and they're definitely, I'm worried about both of them. I am more worried about Nick in list wise because he actually is running 2 exorcists.
Yes. Ooh. I played a game kind of in prep with Nick. I was playing GSC, he was playing GSC. I was playing Grey Knights. And he traumatized me so bad. That's why there's 2 infiltrators in my now Vanguard list, and he came up with Adeptus Sororitas, and I'm like, you bastard, the 2 exorcists. Oh my god.
Luckily my list is like a little like Biosanctic can play around it a little bit because they can put a bunch of stuff in reserve and then just nail charges, which is fine. Also like getting back up, like he might kill a unit onto round 1, but then I might just like get it back immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
So but I am worried about exorcists. I am less worried about castigators because once you clear a screen, castigators just die, and that's okay. But Quentin's list is also terrifying. So there's a sisters thing. We have at least one guard player. Right? Do I have, yeah, one guard player from Mexico. He's apparently a good player. I talked to my Team Mexico guys. So there's that. There's a lot of there's like 3 Necrons in my thing. So like that's something that I don't have reps into yet that I need to get a bunch of reps into before Wednesday. Though I think every one of those Necrons list is running like something big. Pretty sure 1 has a Tesseract Vault and 2 have monoliths. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe 1 doesn't have a monolith. 1 has a monolith, 1 has a Tesseract Vault for sure.
Yeah.
The demons list is a monster mash, which is like probably fine. Like question mark.
It just depends on how many 4-ups they roll.
Well, yeah, but it's like, obviously the 4-ups matter, but like at some point, if you charge into something and you're winning on, if you're hitting like 1 million attacks or whatever, like at some point it just doesn't matter. Like volume eventually doesn't matter. But
Drown them in dice for sure.
Yeah, and I have a unit that does either 40 or 60 attacks on the charge with +1 to wound against infantry and lethal hits and AP1 damage too.
Yeah.
So like, whatever, it's fine. But that list is scary still. It's very good. I've played against it a bunch. And then there was one other one. Some of the players who I think it's called something Krumpen or whatever. It's a Swedish podcast. Jesper is on there. He was talking about his list today. I think he's a shooting Marines list. There's at least a couple Ironstorm in here, which is like scary until I realized none of them are running Whirlwinds.
Yeah.
And while obviously GW has better shooting lanes than WTC, because I'm playing surprise, like sometimes just jam. Dude, the number of just like 9-inch charges that I casually make because that's an 8-inch charge and then I can buff the charge and whatever is between buffing the charge and a reroll, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And they worded the buff charge strat correctly where it says anytime it would declare a charge that phase. So if you reroll it, you still get the plus.
Ooh, nice.
Important. That wording is everything.
Yeah, for sure. Noah's playing Death Guard. He's playing a bunch of Terminators. So that's obviously scary. 2-up saves can be problematic. So I have to hit them with Ridge Runners first. So that because then even if they pop like an AOC effect, I'm still putting them on a 4-up, which is cool.
Do they have AOC, Death Guard?
I don't know. I just assume every power armor army
On
has
it.
I don't think they do.
I just assume that every single power armor.
They've got fights first, which is the worst thing in the world for everything I play. But
when you my guys, if I charge, I don't care about fight first as much for the aberrants because the aberrants 4-up fight on death.
Right.
And then also I have like an explodey strat for the character, and then also the abominant just gets back up. So on a 2-up.
An explodey strat on the character.
One CP. One CP, if a character dies, if a Biophagus, a Patriarch, or an Abominant dies, on a 2-up, it does 2d3 mortal wounds to a unit that is in engagement.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It does D3 if it's a Biophagus. That's the little infantry guy. It does 2d3 if it's a Patriarch or an Abominant.
Wow.
Which is like what you use it on. And it's great because the Abominant gets back up on a 2. So like you charge something, you kill something, he kills you back, you fall down, you explode. Oh, it's even better if they charge you. So they charge you, you fight on death, or they wipe your whole squad 1 activation. You get a fight on death, punch the shit out of some stuff. Cool. You explode. You do 2d3 mortal wounds to the unit that discharged you, and then on a 2-up you get back up. And a lot of the times, and that's without rolling to see if the unit comes back. And so in that scenario, sometimes you kill the unit who charged you, or like just completely remove it from combat effectiveness. And then the salt in the wound is then you roll a 5-up. And the aberrant squad just goes back into reserve and comes back.
Wow.
So they don't have an
really
AOC. I checked.
Okay,
they have a -1 damage for 2 CP, but not an AOC.
So I've been trying to get reps in. I feel right now I'm going to feel more confident in a couple days. I think I do feel very strongly about the list. The list hits so incredibly hard, right? I have a squad of acolytes with mining weapons. They're anti-vehicle 4-up, and they're strength 5, AP2 damage 3. And with a biophagist attached, they're lethal hits, and I can pop +1 wound against infantry. And they get the bonus with the biophagist in the unit, so they get +1 to their charge and +1 attack.
Nice.
So they get 18 attacks at 5, 2, 3. Anti-vehicle 4+, lethal
Which
hit.
is good, man. I there's a lot of vehicles. I was surprised with how much like big beefy stuff I'm seeing in the lists.
There's so much beef, dude.
Yeah.
So in my playtesting, one thing I realized, like my brain is starting to open to the GSE shenanigans, right? I fall back. I'm I'm battle shocked. I need to fall back to be able to do this thing. I fall back. I die from battle shock. I roll a 5-up.
Oh.
The unit goes a new unit. It doesn't say that unit. It says a new unit. It goes up there, and then I deep struck it back that turn where I wanted it to be, and then charge something on the other side of the board.
Because you died at the right time. It's all about timing, baby.
Now the difference is, I think with ongoing effects, when the Abominant dies, if he gets back up, he's still battle shocked because of ongoing effects. I think that's how that works. Because it doesn't put a new unit in place. It sets up that unit.
Yeah. Resisting effects stay in
Yeah.
that case.
The Cold Ambush rule says a new unit.
Yeah, new unit's a new unit.
That's why you get your single shot
that's
weapons and stuff back.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest. Like I'm definitely like not the favorite for it, but I'm going with the hope and the try to win my pot. Ideally, my that would be crazy awesome, but otherwise, I'm trying to go 3-1 in the pod phase. That's what I would like to do. That's the plan. And last year I went 4-4, I went 4-4 overall last year, or 4-3 or whatever. Like I did fine, but like it wasn't. I was like middle of the road, right? And I would like to do better this year. This year, I think I'm taking a stronger army, and I think I'm a better player than I was. So I'm trying to do that. But there's nothing in this. There's nothing in my pod. Well, actually, there is. There's a couple things in my pod that I feel like are easy matchups, list wise. But obviously, I'm not talking shit on any players, right? Like,
this is not the event for that.
Yeah, these players are all here for a reason. I'm not at all scared of Imperial Knights, not even remotely. They just don't. They kill me. I come back. I hit them with things. They die. It's like the little.
They don't come back.
Yeah, the little knights evaporate. The big knights are harder to deal with. But when I shoot them with like a ton of laser cannons that are D6+1, it's fine. Right. Also, I can put them on 6-up saves and melee. So it's like whatever. So I'm not worried about Imperial Knights. I'm not worried about World Leaders because I have 4-up fight on death. And I'm just going to take all my attacks on the chin on either flamethrowers that are going to Overwatch or aberrants who are going to fight on death and punch them in the face. And then like every unit in every one of my, so I have 6 like hit units, right? So I have 3 squads of aberrants, a 10-man squad of gene stealers, a 10-man squad of hybrids, and a 10-man squad of acolytes with mining weapons. Every one of those units murders 8-pound all day long. Right. So like I'm not worried about that either. So the Tyranids list is absolutely terrifying. It's a bunch of giant Tyranids. It's a bunch of big bugs, and it is very scary.
What detachment?
Yeah, Josh Crow's list.
What detachment is he running?
Oh, almost every Tyranid player who's going is running Invasion Fleet.
But not all.
Almost all.
I have a Vanguard. I would love to actually have a Vanguard off with the Tyranid Vanguard.
Who's got
see
the best
who is
Vanguard?
the real? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but only because I like.
I'm not that worried about Custodians. I've played the matchup now twice. It's pretty favored for me. And then I have no idea what the matchup into the Imperial Agents is. They're all like things that just die.
Yeah,
so
I feel like that's just a flex to be like, look, I can I can play this as an army. I don't know. Maybe that my hubris will be my downfall, and I will meet him in the afterpod stages. And I've heard good things about him as a player, but
he's cool, and I've met him. He's a Marine too.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. I've like met him in passing before, but yeah, like I wouldn't write him off, but I don't know, man. Imperial Age.
Necron, Sisters, Astra, those are the ones I'm most worried about. The Gene Stealer Cult Mirror would be fun, but kind of weird because I'm the melee one, he's the shooting one. But the problem is his shooting one wants to show up close because he has the 3-inch deep strikes. I have he has like no melee ability basically. He has like a rock grinder.
Yeah.
Like he has
if you like half of his stuff is protection from shooting. Like if you shoot the unit, they can go back, but like you're not going to shoot the unit. You're going to charge them and rip them into shreds.
Yeah, and I have so my 10-man hybrid squad also has 9 flamer pistols. So like deep striking within 12 of that with a toughness 3 or 4 unit is not a fun day for you.
Ill-advised.
Yeah, so that hybrid unit, dude, it's wild. It gets a blood surge move. It gets 1 million attacks. It has 9 flamethrowers and has a 5 of field of pain.
Wow!
And that's just the data sheets. That's like no extra buffs.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know, man. I'm stoked. I'm going to be live streaming from TikTok a bunch while I'm there, and I'm going to post a bunch of content. So that'll be fun.
Good times.
Yeah, this is my list.
It's a lot of aberrants.
Yeah, so it's 3 abominants who all get up on a 2-up, 2 biophagi, which give their units lethal hits and +1 to wound once per game. The +1 to wound once per game. And because the keyword of the detachment ability is +1 to charge and +1 attack when you charge, but only for biophagous gene stealers and aberrants. So the biophagous gives the rule to his unit. And that he can join. So one of those joins the acolytes with mining saws. One of them joins the hybrids. And then a patriarch who has the upgrade to make his claws damage 3 and +1 AP. So they're AP 3, damage 3, twin linked devastating wounds.
Wow. Do they not have a psychic attack?
No. His psychic attack is at the beginning of the fight phase, everyone in 6 takes a battle shock.
Okay.
And then I can once per game extend it to 12.
That's pretty good. That's
so
really good.
Yeah, it's a beginning of the fight phase, so it's kind of like there's this interesting you can do. You can like YOLO in, kill a bunch of stuff, pop it, hopefully like be near a couple of objectives and make a bunch of units no longer able to hold their objectives and like flip objectives back for your turn, which is kind of fun. So acolytes, the big squad of acolytes, and then 3 squads with flamers, and 3 squads of aberrants, 4 Achilles Ridge Runners, 1 with a mortar, 3 with laser cannons, big squad of hybrid metamorphs, 10 pure screen gene stealers, and 2 5-pounds. I don't have as much trash as like McDougal's list, which has 4 squads and 2 acolyte squads. So I don't have 6 squads of trash like a lot of people do. So I have less trash, but I have more hit squads. I have more individual squads that deliver killing blows.
Yeah.
Which means my list is much better at killing elite armies that are like I'm really good at just like, oh, you have 4 units in your list that I'm worried about? Sweet.
So that's why the like Astra Militarum and maybe Sisters is a little like.
Yeah. And that's why Quentin's list is less scary. Like Quentin is great and was scary, but his is less because he has just fewer things, right? So like 1 squad of rock stars can kill potentially 2 immolators, right? Like if I wound one a little bit, charge in some lethal hits, right? So like that's not that big of a deal. What I worry about is if like you go up against Astra and they have like 6 tanks. I'm like, oh
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, no, I've been looking at some of the card lists. None of them are not scary.
Nope. Luckily, there are 7. So there are 7 people from the USA in my pod. So it means I won't have to play anyone from the USA until potentially round 2, but likely round 3. But round 3 onward, probably playing. There's a good chance to play someone from USA, considering 2 of those people potentially are Quinn and Nick.
Yeah.
Not getting paired against Nick first round school.
Take the W you can, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would love like the World Eaters matchup. Like just something like gentle to start.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna lie. In my pod, I mean, I've heard that he's a really good player from someone I really respect. But the Grey Knights, I'm like, yeah, you're a good player, but I've just been playing that army for the last 2 months, and I had designed this army initially to dismantle that army. Like, you've been on the receiving end of that. You know what I can do into Grey Knights. You've seen it. So I'm like,
Still
okay.
have nightmares.
Yeah. So I'm like, give me that matchup. Put me in, coach. But alas, we don't get to pick these things, do we?
But sometimes we ask for the matchup we want, and it turns out that like the player has some skill set that makes it impossible, or the mission goes weird, or something happens, and then you're like, oh, I asked for this, and now I'm being destroyed.
That was what my draw into Matt Laura at Champs Cup felt like. Because I was like, give me the Eldar. But then the combination of the mission, the table, and Matt Laura being an excellent Warhammer player, it was just like, oh, fuck. I got a draw still. It was close. But like, yeah, as you say, sometimes like be careful what you wish for. All I know is that I'm going to have fun regardless. But,
It's going to be fun. It's going to be great to see everybody. It's going to be great to chill. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I didn't make Team USA in the academy, so I can't potentially start, and I'm not, I don't have any chance to start, but I did make it on Team USA. I got invited on as an advisor, which means I'm part of the team, and I get to help with like list construction and practice scrims and that kind of stuff. But I just don't have a chance to play this year. But it is the best thing I can do to potentially play next year.
That's awesome.
So I'm hoping one of the reasons I want to do well is because I'd like to, have that be a feather in my cap for my standing with the team.
No, that makes perfect sense. And like, honestly, I know that getting that advisor status isn't something that is given out lightly either. So I know it's not quite what you want, but
no, I mean, Richard Siegler is an advisor. Like what?
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and like your guys is like, Team USA is something else, man. Like the competition that you're competing with is insane. I did make it in. So, if we're doing quick WTC updates, I applied. We had the process this year has been a lot more formal, a lot more kind of organized, I would say. We now have a board. So there's board members from all across the country, which is really cool to see because historically there's been a lot of, kind of moaning about it being Team Ontario because that's where like the majority of the WTC guys are. I kind of helped like change that last year by being a backup player and a coach from like BC. But yeah, so we have a board now. We have the captaincy is all done and dusted, and like the leadership team is moving forward. So I had to write a Warhammer resume, which was weird but kind of fun. So I applied. I made the first sort of cut. So I will, and actually one of the big things that probably played in my favor was, and like the area of my CV that I was most confident in, one of the things they wanted to see was like, how many games do you travel for, or how many tournaments do you travel for, and how well do you do there? And like, being in Western Canada, it's so much easier for me to come down to the US, come play at tournaments, in Washington State, etc. So like going undefeated at Storm really helped my numbers in that category. So I'm sure I got a decent score there. But I'm really excited. We've got interviews happening. I want to say the Thursday after WCW. So,
oh wow,
I'm hoping to do well as well, so that like I can kind of go into that interview feeling confident. But yeah, exciting stuff.
Sick. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good week. That's it. That's all I got. You got anything, Joe?
No, you want to talk about your list real quick, Cass?
Sure. So this list should have been titled "It Feels Good to Be Home," because man, like I was bashing my head against the wall with a 30 Terminator GK list, and like I have access to like Jack, who designed the list. Like I call him, like, Jack, what the fuck? How do I make this thing work? And I did like okay at Kippers with it. I went 3-2, but I had like the hardest path. I played absolute Titans, won some, lost some, you know how it goes. But it was the main thing that got me was at the end of each day, but especially the first day, which was 3 rounds at this GT at Kippers, my brain was cooked. Every round went exactly to time. I had to use every last brain cell I had because you have 6 units. And so I didn't want that for my WCW experience. And I said, you know what? No, I'm going home. So this is a very similar list to what I've ran in the past. We've got the Apothecary Biologist with the Blade Driven Deep, with Calgar and the 6 Eradicators. We've got Uriel Ventress with the Company Heroes. We've got the 6 Dev Sense that now have Deep Strike thanks to Uriel, so they can up Downy everywhere they want. I've got 2 3-man Eradicator squads. I've got 3 Inceptor squads, 3-mans, which is a departure from what I usually run. I like the 6-mans, but I found I needed to find some points. And more often than not, the Inceptors would come in, do their job, then die. So now they just do a smaller job and still die. Or they don't, and now I have 3 units of them running around scoring and doing nonsense. I just said no to Deep Strikers. So I took 2x5 Infiltrators, as we discussed.
So good.
Because one of the main changes kind of in Pariah, well, and the most recent update really, was that Uriel got a Vectora. So Ventress and the Company Heroes used to just babysit my back objective. And I didn't need the Infiltrators because, like, you want to come down and scrap with a very real unit on my home objective, by all means. Let's dance. But now he has a Vectora. I want him up front near the Calgar unit. So, like, your front lines mean that you're paying 2 CP for your strats. As a result, I now have like 2 units that are competent in melee as my front line. I don't want anything getting in my back line without going through that first. So, hence the 2 Infiltrators, and then 2 Scout Squads and the ATV. As I said, moves 12 inches, it can action in the middle of the board, and then die for the Emperor. Glory.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've had a few reps into it. I did lose to my friend playing a very similar Sisters list to the one Nick played. Different, but definitely 2 Exorcists, and that hurt my feelings. I thought Indirect was dead. Everyone was crying about Indirect being dead. And then you read the Exorcist data sheet and you're like, it has what now? Its strength what? How many AP? Why? But, you know, here we are. Bitching's not going to do anything about it. So, yeah, that's the list. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Like, not so much because I think that this is like the best list possible, but it's the best list for me. You know, I talked to my teammates about it, and it's like, okay, Lennon wouldn't take the 2 Infiltrator squads because Lennon's a better player than me, and he doesn't need it. You know who needs it? Battle round 3 of game 6. This guy is going to be exhausted, and I'm going to be playing sloppy. And I'm going to leave a gap in the back where your stuff's going to come in, and I'm going to lose the game because I forgot to screen because of fatigue. With 2 Infiltrators, that's not a problem. It's just not a thing. So I went for the good and safe bet, a list I'm comfortable with. And if I am going to have to beat the players that are better than me, this is the kind of toolbox I needed. So let's see how she goes. Last year, I didn't do as well as Noah. I only went 3-5. So if I can do better than that, I'm happy. That's, well, I say that, but I'm because of, as I said at the beginning of the show, like, I'm having some physical and mental health issues. because of all that, I'm just going in with like the attitude of I'm going to go see my friends. I'm going to go have a good time. But that is my goal, is to do better than last year. So we'll see how she goes.
Well, good luck to both
You're
you
gonna
guys.
do great. I feel it in my bones. You're gonna do great.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, no, I feel like this is a list that because last year I was still sort of adjusting to 10th. I was playing like a Dreadnought Gladius build that was not really the sauce. It was kind of all over the place. And like I I had been given the heads up about this list from John, and I didn't have the time to hobby it and to get reps in. And he said, "Don't. If you're not going to be able to get reps, don't do it." He was right, but this list is one I've been playing all year. I actually had to write down how many tournament reps I've had with it, but like I've probably played like over 100 games with this type of archetype of list.
I think easily over 100 games.
So like if I have any shot of doing well, it's with this toolkit. And yeah, we'll see how she goes. But I'm excited. I'm excited to put my boys in blue back on the table. I'm excited that I made the display tray thing work. So again, I don't actually expect to like even place top 3 in paint. The competition was like so insane last year that it's not something I'm aiming for, but I figure I'll do decently in paint. And then who knows, if I have a good run, then I'm a threat for overall, which is why we do this show, right?
Heck yeah, buddy.
So.
Oh, I realized I forgot. There's one other thing my list I didn't cover. I have a Sanctus, which is a little asshole with a knife.
Oh.
What does he do?
He's the deep strike guy.
I think he got cut off. I think he's cut off on this.
He must have. Yeah.
Yeah, because I look at my list for the event, and he's in there.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, he's
a panicked look of did I forget to put something in the list?
He's a 50-point lone op with deep strike who rerolls all hits and wounds against one character that I pick at the beginning of the game, and he can't be overwatched. Is the important thing.
That is very important.
Yeah, my buddy used that against me and to try to take my back objective, and I thought, well, 10 Grats can surely just kill this little wiener guy with no armor and like 3 wounds, and nope. Even shooting, they charged him, and he ended up just massacring all 10 of them and the knob. And I was like, oh dear, that didn't work out well.
Angry little dude with a knife.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, good luck, guys, and safe travels. What day do you guys fly out?
Wednesday.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
I'm getting in. This is the first time I've ever gone to an event that I'm getting in early. I'm leaving at 7 in the morning from Seattle, and it's like a 5-hour flight or whatever, or 4-hour flight, and then it's a 3-hour time difference. So it's a 7-hour difference. So it's going to be like 3 or 4 or something when I land, and or 2 or 3 or something when I land. And so like I'm actually going to get to go and check into my hotel and then take my army over and maybe get some practice reps in the event hall the day before. I'm also excited about that.
I land at 10 p.m. So
of course you do.
That's not happening for me.
That's usually the Noah special. Get in at 1 in the morning and have dice at 8. Let's go.
All right. Well, good luck, guys, and have a good night, everyone.
We'll have lots of pictures. See you soon. Bye.
See ya.